In the summer of 2015, a history teacher in Fuzhou, China, walked into her home and was never seen alive again. For 7 months, her colleagues thought she'd gone abroad. Her relatives wired her son money for the trip. Her students waited for her to come back and teach. She was in the apartment the entire time, sealed inside a room by the one person she trusted most. Some threads don't lead to an answer, they just lead to more questions. His name was Wu Xieyu, and on paper he was perfect. Top of his class in Fuzhou, a near-flawless score on China's brutal college entrance exam, a scholarship to Peking University, the Harvard of China. Classmates called him God Wu. Teachers used him as the example. He was polite, brilliant, humble, the son every parent wished they had. But perfection has a weight. Wu had spent his entire life being the best, for the exams, for the teachers, for his mother. And those who knew him said something unsettling. He never seemed to break. He never seemed to feel anything at all. But behind the perfect grades was a family carrying quiet grief. In 2010, Wu's father died of cancer. It left just the two of them, Wu and his mother, Xie Tianqin. She was a history teacher. Reserved, strict, devoted. People said she lived for her son. And her son was about to plan her death. This was not a crime of passion. In the months before, Wu Xieyu went shopping, not for textbooks. Knives, plastic sheeting, activated charcoal, surveillance cameras, a dumbbell. Investigators would later find he had researched every step: how to kill, how to hide a body, how to disappear. This was a boy who planned like an engineer. Every purchase, a step. Every step rehearsed in his mind long before his mother came home. On July 10, 2015, his mother came home. She stopped at the door to change her shoes. Her son was waiting. He struck her with the dumbbell bar, again and again. What he did next is what makes this case unforgettable. He didn't run. He stayed. He wrapped his mother's body in layer after layer of plastic film. He packed the room with activated charcoal to hide the smell of decay. He sealed the door with tape. And then he installed cameras, pointed at the room so he could watch it. A 21-year-old genius, turning his own home into a crime scene he could monitor, and nobody suspected a thing. Now Wu Xieyu had a problem. A missing mother invites questions. So he gave everyone an answer. He told his mother's school she needed unpaid leave to accompany him abroad to study in the United States. He wrote messages as her. He answered as her. Then he turned to the family. He told uncles, aunts, and family friends the same story. Mom and I are going to America. We just need to borrow for the fees. Over the following months, relatives and friends handed him more than 1.4 million yuan, around 200,000 US dollars. Money given in love, for a trip that never existed, by a family that had no idea the mother was already dead. Think about the cruelty of that. He didn't just take her life. He used her name, her voice, her memory, to take their trust, and their savings too. With the cash, he bought fake IDs. He built a new identity. And in early 2016, before anyone could check the sealed room, Wu Xieyu vanished. For 3 years, the perfect son became a ghost. He drifted across China under borrowed names. He tutored students, top scorers of course. He worked night jobs in the city of Chongqing. People who met him described the same man his classmates had known: smart, charming, quiet. He hid, not in the shadows, but in plain sight. A wanted man, tutoring other people's children, smiling for the camera. And the money he had taken from his grieving family, he spent it. Reports in China describe him drifting through the nightlife of Chongqing, taking odd jobs and lavishing gifts on a young woman he had fallen for. The straight-A son, the pride of Peking University, was now a fugitive, living off the savings of the very relatives he had deceived. 3 years. No mother, no answers. Just a photograph of her son on a wanted poster and a room in Fuzhou nobody had opened. But lies have a shelf life. The messages from Mom started to feel wrong. The story never quite added up. Relatives grew suspicious and went to the police. On February 14, 2016, Valentine's Day, officers opened the sealed room in Fuzhou. Inside, they found Xie Tianqin, exactly where her son had left her 7 months before. China erupted. The perfect student, the devoted mother, the unthinkable crime. It became one of the most talked about cases in the country. His face was everywhere. A nationwide alert went out. Airports, train stations, checkpoints, all watching for one young man. But Wu Xieyu was already gone. Then, on April 20th, 2019, more than 3 years later, a surveillance camera at Chongqing's airport flagged a face in the crowd. It was him. The ghost was finally caught. In court, the world finally got to ask the question everyone wanted answered. Why? And this is where the case turned strange. Wu Xieyu's explanations shifted. At one point, he said he wanted to free his mother from her pain after his father's death, to help her join him. Later, that story changed too. The court did not buy it. And China split in two. Some saw a cold, calculating killer who murdered for money and freedom. Others saw a young man crushed by a lifetime of impossible expectations, who finally shattered. The truth stayed locked somewhere only he could reach. In 2021, Wu Xieyu was sentenced to death for murder, fraud, and using forged documents. He appealed. In 2023, the appeal was rejected. And on January 31st, 2024, the perfect son was executed. The state closed the file, but it never truly answered the question. A mother who lived for her son. A son who planned her death for months, and a motive that died with him. If you want the next case, follow the thread and subscribe.